The NFL offseason has always been a chessboard of strategy, speculation, and seismic roster reshuffling. Now, another intriguing possibility has emerged, one that involves two of the league's most iconic franchises and a young, towering tight end with untapped potential. The Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers are reportedly circling a potential trade involving second-year tight end Darnell Washington, a move that, while not headline-grabbing on the surface, could carry significant long-term implications for both franchises. Darnell Washington, a 6'7", 270-pound behemoth of a tight end, was selected by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the third round of the 2023 NFL Draft. Coming out of the University of Georgia, Washington was heralded as a rare physical specimen, combining offensive line-level blocking prowess with flashes of receiving ability that hinted at a potentially dynamic weapon. His size, athleticism, and physicality made him one of the most talked-about prospects in his draft class, even if questions about his route running and polish as a pass catcher kept him from being selected in the earlier rounds. In his rookie season, Washington served primarily as a backup to starter Pat Freiermuth. While his stats were modest, logging just 9 receptions for 112 yards and 0 touchdowns, his impact wasn't necessarily measured on the stat sheet. Washington was often deployed as an inline blocker in heavy formations and played an essential role in protecting young quarterbacks and supporting Pittsburgh's run game. Coaches and analysts alike noted his discipline, effort, and willingness to do the dirty work that rarely gets appreciated in highlight reels but makes a world of difference in close games. However, the recent blockbuster trade that brought veteran tight end Jonnu Smith to the Steelers has cast a shadow over Washington's long-term future with the franchise. Smith, a proven dual-threat tight end who played under new Steelers offensive coordinator Arthur Smith in Tennessee and Atlanta, arrives in Pittsburgh with a clear role in mind. His chemistry with the coaching staff, versatility, and experience immediately slot him alongside, or even ahead of, Freiermuth on the depth chart. With the Steelers now boasting a tight end room that features 2 established veterans, Washington's window to earn significant playing time in Pittsburgh may have all but closed. This logjam has sparked speculation that the Steelers might be open to trading Washington, and among the potential suitors, the Dallas Cowboys have emerged as a logical destination. Last Word on sports analyst Anthony Palacios recently highlighted this connection, suggesting that Washington's rookie contract and developmental upside make him an attractive acquisition for a team like Dallas. The Cowboys, who have long valued tight ends that can both block and stretch the field, could be intrigued by what Washington brings to the table, especially given the current state of their tight end group. The Cowboys enter the 2025 season with some uncertainty at the tight end position. Jake Ferguson, once heralded as a breakout candidate, is coming off a disappointing campaign. Despite flashes of brilliance in the red zone and solid chemistry with quarterback Dak Prescott, Ferguson struggled with consistency, drops, and blocking assignments. Luke Schoonmaker, a second-round pick from Michigan in 2023, remains more of a project than a polished contributor, and there's little evidence to suggest he'll be ready to take over as TE1 anytime soon. Adding Darnell Washington to this mix wouldn't necessarily crown him the starter from day one, but it would introduce healthy competition and add a skill set currently lacking in Dallas' offensive arsenal. Washington's ability to serve as a 6th offensive lineman while also threatening defenses with seam routes and contested catches could help revitalize the Cowboys' red zone offense, a weakness that plagued them throughout the previous season. In coordinator Brian Schottenheimer's system, which places a premium on tight end versatility and physicality, Washington could quietly blossom into a critical piece of the puzzle. From a financial standpoint, the trade would be a low-risk, high-reward move for Dallas. Washington is still on his rookie deal, meaning he carries a team-friendly cap hit that wouldn't hinder the Cowboys' flexibility elsewhere. For a team that's juggling contract negotiations with stars like CeeDee Lamb, Micah Parsons, and potentially Dak Prescott, finding value in positions like tight end is not just a luxury, it's a necessity. On Pittsburgh's side, the logic for moving Washington is equally compelling. The Steelers have made it clear they're in a win-now mode. By acquiring Jonnu Smith and continuing to build around quarterback Russell Wilson and a defense led by T.J. Watt and Minkah Fitzpatrick, Pittsburgh is looking to make noise in a highly competitive AFC North. If Washington isn't projected to see the field often, flipping him for a mid-round draft pick or a rotational player could help the Steelers bolster depth at positions of greater need, such as cornerback or interior offensive line. Moreover, the Steelers have shown a willingness to maximize value from players who may be blocked on the depth chart. Trading Washington would not be an indictment of his talent, but rather an acknowledgement of the team's current priorities and a chance to allow the player to thrive elsewhere. The relationship between the two franchises, both respected, stable organizations, would also make negotiations smoother, especially if both parties see the upside in the exchange. While no official deal has been announced, and the talks remain speculative for now, the groundwork has seemingly been laid. Washington's limited usage, the Steelers' tight end depth, and the Cowboys' need for a cost-effective, developmental option all point to a potential match. The only question is timing. Training camp looms on the horizon, and with it comes roster evaluations, injuries, and shifting priorities. Should Ferguson or Schoonmaker underperform early in camp, the Cowboys may feel compelled to act quickly. Conversely, if the Steelers find themselves needing to free up snaps or acquire help elsewhere, they may initiate trade discussions on their own terms. The story of Darnell Washington is still being written. At just 23 years old, he remains one of the most intriguing young tight ends in the league. An unfinished product with elite physical tools and a work ethic that has drawn praise from every coaching staff he's played under. Whether his breakout moment comes in Pittsburgh, Dallas, or somewhere else entirely remains to be seen, but the whispers of a trade suggest that at least two franchises believe there's far more to come from the former Georgia Bulldog. For the Cowboys, this could be an opportunity to buy low on a player whose ceiling remains tantalizingly high. For the Steelers, it's a chance to realign their roster and recoup value on a depth piece who deserves more than to ride the bench behind two veterans. As with all offseason moves, the calculus comes down to vision, how each team sees the future unfolding and how players like Darnell Washington fit into that vision. If a deal is struck, don't expect headlines or viral social media reactions. But do keep an eye on what happens next. Sometimes the most impactful moves are the quietest, the ones that make sense in hindsight, the ones that come to define the depth and success of a team when the season reaches its climax. And maybe, just maybe, Darnell Washington will be catching a key third down pass in January, wearing a star on his helmet and reminding everyone why potential should never be underestimated.